Hello. My name is Chris and I will be your guide for the Serie A Fantasy Game. We are 10 days away from the start of the new season 2023-2024 in Italian football. There is a transfer window still going on and everything can change. But still I will show you my team, and before the deadline for the first game week we will do a recap. Last season I didn't show my best managerial skills. Bad transfer decisions, bad choices for captains in first half of the season, and one specific round where I put 40 points on the bench ultimately cost me a lot of points and I ended up far away of the dream position in the global ranking. But this year I am motivated to do better. Are you joining in? If so, let's go. I will create my team by starting with the goalkeeper position. I have to choose 2 goalkeepers, and this season I will count on 1 main keeper. You can see top 7 of the most selected players so far. I'll take Milinkovic-Savic, who scored a lot of points for my team last year. He is having some troubles before the campaign, but I hope he will be ready for the start. The other keeper will be Berardi, as one of the cheapest in the game. In my opinion, those fantasy players who buy goalkeepers from the big clubs are limiting their teams of the big stars up front. On the other hand, I'm taking not that expensive goalkeeper in order to have €1 million extra. Next I have to choose defenders. I'm allowed to have 5. In this fantasy game the defenders are awarded more points than any other position on the field, so I want players who will grab points for clean sheets and have a lot of playing time. In my opinion, AS Roma, Napoli, Juventus and Atalanta have easier first 10 games, and that's why I'll go for players from these clubs. Starting with Bremer as a cheaper variant from Juventus. Adding to him, I'll go straight to Roma and take 2 of the new signings for this season, Indica and Christensen. On the other 2 spots I'll put 2 cheaper defenders, Amy and Missouri. I'll be looking to swap them with some better players as the season progresses. Moving on to the midfield, I'm allowed 5 of them just like the defenders. In this position you have some of the biggest names in Italian top flight, but the problem is that their prices are far too high to have them all in your team, so you have to be creative. And that I think is the biggest challenge in this game. Knowing that Dybala is suspended, the fact that I have only 1 spot left from Juventus, wanting to have midfielder from Atalanta and Milan, and having a reserved spot for Kvicha, I don't have much of a choice. Starting off with Rafael Leo from Milan, Kvicha from Napoli and Chiesa from Juventus, I think that these 3 players will have guaranteed spots in my team. Kvicha had very good first season and I hope he will continue with this form this year. Leo is from another planet and is a joy to watch him play. Chiesa I believe will have wonderful season, being the center of the project for the club. Adding to them is Koopmeiners from Atalanta, who did good as well last season, and I think with the easy first quarter of the season and the way the team is playing he can contribute a lot of points for me. Now you can see that I've chosen 4 out of 5 of the top, most selected players in the game, but I won't take Barella for my team. I will go with a joker of kind in the face of Fratesi. I don't know if he will play that much in Inter, but he was signed this summer and I think can score some points. Of course that may change in the next 10 days and I will be forced to search another player for this position. I may even buy someone who is cheaper in order to not destroy the team as a whole. And now, finally I arrived up front in the attacking part of the pitch. As you can see, the forwards don't get that much points as the other players in the team. They don't get points for clean sheets and win less than the midfielders as well. If they play full 90 minutes but don't score, they will bring only 3 points per round, so you have to choose top goal scorers. There are a few tactics you can apply in creating your attack. The first is to buy one highly expensive player like Osimhen, Lautaro or Immobile and add to him two very cheap forwards in order to have better midfield. The second is to have three equally cheap attackers capable of scoring goals. And third may be having one player for about 6 or 7 millions and two other for even less than that. Either way you have a lot of players to choose from and the risk is on, as seen last season. Forwards scored less points in Serie A Fantasy Game. For my attack I'm having the top goal scorer of the last season, Osimhen, as one of the most expensive players in the game. The second striker will be Xerxes from Bologna. Valued at just €5 million, I think he will be very good third option for my team if he managed to play more minutes. The last forward I'll add is, in my opinion, the one that will be the surprise of the season in this position. Toure from Atalanta is the second player from this club in my team and I believe he will make good partnership with Koopmeiners, and knowing the style of play of this club, I expect a lot of goals and assists from these two. Write down in the comments what your team will look like, and if you have some advices for me, I'll be happy to read them. In my team I've tried to implement the best players from the best clubs. I couldn't get all the biggest stars, so I had to buy some cheaper players who may not even play in order to achieve this starting lineup. There are capable players, but I think they can score a lot of points this season, and I'll show you in a minute. At this point I think I've done a very good job. This year I'll rely on the fact that Juventus will play only in the league and can achieve a lot of clean sheets, plus I hope for Chiesa to play big part in the Bianconeri season. On the other hand I hope Napoli and Atalanta to start strong, and Osimhen and Kvicha, and Koopmeiners and Toure to score a lot points. I have some fears about Milinkovic-Savic's injury and Fratesi playing minutes, but I'll keep an eye on the transfer market in the next week. Last year I didn't perform that bad, finishing with 2,738 points, which gave me a place in top 3,000 in global rankings. Out of 46,382 participants I ended at 2,917th place. I finished in top 100 in my country out of over 750 players. This season I'll create a league which you can join, so we can share the fun together. This is the code and I will be waiting you there. Now you can see top 40 defenders according to their price. The ones that are marked are those who I will follow, and in case of injury in my team I'll try to transfer them in. Carlos Augusto and Fabiano Parisi did very well last season, while the Milan and AS Roma players kept them in Champions League spots. Hernandez, Di Marco, Di Lorenzo, Romagnoli, Samling, Birahi and Hatbor were a fundamental part for their team's defense throughout the season. These are the top 30 midfielders in the game. As you saw, I got the 4 most selected midfielders for now, but I have watch list of a few other players in order to react as fast as I can to injuries, bad fixtures and bad form. Dybala is suspended for the first game, but is fit to play after that. Luis Alberto, Gonzalez and Lookman were vital for their teams last year. I'll look closely for their form. Weah, Pulisic and Kamada are newcomers and will have to prove themselves, while on the other hand Paul Pogba is a superstar, but he has problems with injuries in the last few years and nobody knows what is his level right now. And these are top 30 of the forwards this season. I have last season's top scorer and I hope he will not be sold and doesn't get injured. Although I believe in Xerxes and Toure, I would like to see how good some other strikers will perform this year. Lautaro, Giroud, Abraham, Dia were in top 10 goal scorers in 2022-23, but for now I would wait and not buy them. On the other hand I'll watch closely Thuram, Scamacca, Okafor, Simeone, Retegui and Raspadori. Beto did well for my team last season, but was not that productive as I was hoping for, just like Luka Jovic.